This is Will Nunziata, New York City-based director and creator of theater, television, and film. And today I am thrilled to be speaking with the acclaimed creative artist and advocate, the one and only Jackson PAULS. Jackson, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, Jackson, are you kidding me? Of course. You're incredible because in addition to being an artist, you're also an advocate. But we will get to that portion of you in a moment. But I want to know first and foremost, where were you born, Jackson? And when did you realize that you had an artistic flair to you?
I was born in San Diego, California, which is where I am right now. I realized I had an artistic flair, I would say about 8 years old. When I was 8 years old, there is this film that you may have heard of called Alice in Wonderland, the
Oh, I
Walt
don't know,
Disney,
that little thing.
that little film called Alice in Wonderland from 1951 by Walt Disney. And I fell in love with the making of that film as well, which was incredibly complex and painfully complex narrative that got me interested in film history, as well as the film itself. It's very unique main character. It's beautiful art design by Mary Blair, and just how it adapts from a book that does not lend itself very well to any other medium. You know, I just fell in love with it and I still love it. And I think from there, it branched out into this giant thing my giant field of artistic creativity, my taste. I went to school at the University of San Diego in communications with an emphasis on film and media. I have been in a high school choir ensemble for quite some time, but I had to stop. But I took a indefinite hiatus from that, and I have since kind of, utilized my passion and interest for the artistic and the different and the weird and just film related since then.
And
And
I
I've
love how,
expressed.
and I love how unapologetic you are about it. I mean, people can look at your socials, and I love the fact that you use your talents, but also your body as an instrument
Mhm,
of artistic expression. And,
mhm.
obviously with your modeling, I'm sure you were kept very busy during the quarantine that you were able to, I'm sure, just continue to express yourself. Did you find that during the quarantine, as tough as a time as it was, that you were able to kind of activate that creative spark within you when it comes to modeling?
Oh, absolutely. I started modeling a couple months prior to COVID, just kind of myself and Instagram pictures, because it was just something I always wanted to try to do. I didn't think to myself that this is the thing I want to do, but it was something that I've always wanted to try to do. And I wanted to do it to kind of get my creative energies flowing. And when I graduated from college, things were not moving as fast as I wanted it to. And I kind of use modeling as an outlet. And during COVID, when the whole world shut down, it was really, really hard to. I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's really hard to be patient with yourself because it is so frustrating. And my mind was, as is everybody, because the world was on fire. My mind was not screwed on right. So I made every mistake in the book during this time, be it falling for scams or paying for somebody to do for Instagram growth, because I was bored and I didn't really know how else to progress, but I didn't want to just sit there like a lump, especially considering I'm an essential worker at a grocery store. Going to the battlefield and then coming back home and kind of waiting it out is not an easy thing to do.
And especially as an artist, I can definitely relate. And by the way, thank you so much for being an essential worker during a time when we needed essential workers now more than ever. But I also just want to really commend you, Jackson, that you present yourself I mean, obviously we all as artists express ourselves in so many different ways, but that there's just a dichotomy between the sensuality, but keeping it elegant. I'm
Mhm.
curious for you if that's a conscious effort on your part when
Oh,
you're putting your
absolutely.
art out there.
Absolutely. I feel like I actually had a discussion with one of my photographer friends a couple months ago. there is a difference between, you know, art, biology, and pornography. And in Instagram, it's very easy to tell, you know, who, or excuse me, it's very hard to tell who's being, you know, an artist and who's going, hey, check out my OnlyFans for $30, watch me take a shower for 5 minutes. Nah. So and so that's always something I was conscious of doing. I'm not ashamed of my body. And, you know, again, growing up in a German household, nudity, the human body is not the same thing as like pornography. Americans are a little more squeamish about it, I think, in this country compared to Germany and most places in Europe. So that's kind of the world I grew up in. And it's very hard to find that line. And there are so many photo shoots that I've done where I've used my body where I thought to myself, this is a little more trashy than artsy, and this is a little more this and that. Even if the photographer liked it, I told them, you know, you can do what you want with it, but I'm not comfortable with showing this on social media because this looks a bit much for me. And, you know, so far, thankfully, I've had very, very respectful photographers who have incorporated my opinions and have the same feelings as I do for that matter.
Well, that's what makes
So
you, I think, a great creative artist, because you're not only in the trenches as the model, but you're thinking about the full purview of the assignment, of the emotion, or what you want to be getting across. And again, Jackson, what I love, and by the way, before I get to my final question, I want to let everyone know, for more on the amazing Jackson, you can read more about him right below this video. Jackson, you know, I love this unapologetic nature to you. You're obviously an artist that has done the work, a person that has done the work. What are you most excited about in terms of your advocacy for Asperger's and ADHD, and how you're able to continue to advocate for those two causes, and also implementing your art through and with it?
I think it largely comes from confidence. I think Asperger's and ADHD has certain connotations with certain people a lot these days. You know, especially with the media and how some websites have declared it as, oh, if you have Asperger's, you do this. If you don't have Asperger's, you're probably doing this. And it's not that complicated. It's not like it's a common cold. It's different for every single person. And it looks different for every single person. Somebody could have the exact same diagnosis that I have, but might not be able to talk, period. And so that is one thing I try to share. And I also want to share, you know, while it's easier said than done, and I did not learn this overnight, have a more optimistic spin on it. Be more positive about this. My grandma would tell me growing up that all that really meant was I'm smarter than everybody else. So I kind of had that internal logic carry me with me throughout my life, and bring it to and apply it to my work, apply it to my way of thinking, apply it to how I communicate with others, which is easier said than done. But when you do learn to do it, I think you end up standing 10 feet taller than everybody else. And that's what's great about some things. That's why I don't really like relying on talent, because talent means it comes easier to you. If you want to be great at something, you have to work at it. You have to work harder than everybody else. And then you end up being greater at everybody else. Greater than most people or greater than everybody else.
Jackson, I love it. I love the words of your grandmother. It's seeped in your bone marrow. It's stuck with you. You're now carrying that baton of your family, of your grandma, in everything that you do, because you're not just doing it for yourself. You truly look at yourself as a vessel of positivity, and of someone, dare I say, who wakes up every day and makes the choice. And it's these little choices every day that you make, Jackson. It's very evident in your work that, again, for someone um, who is so unapologetic, you continue to do the work. It's inspiring. And frankly, I think about all the young Jacksons out there who now have a new North Star to look up to.
Oh, thank you.
Listen, I'm from New York. I say it like it is. Jackson Powles, it is so nice to meet you. I'm so excited you're joining this incredible new social media app. I'm so fortunate I've been able to meet creatives like yourself all over the world who want just one thing at the end of the day: to
Yeah.
connect, collaborate, and to spread a message of hope and positivity. And you're one of those special people, Jackson. And I'm so grateful we're now connected.
It is great to be connected here. Thank you very much. It's wonderful to network these days, isn't it?
God bless America, truly.
God bless America.